Well, hello again, friends. If you are watching, thank you very much for joining. It's a beautiful day in the UK, and what better way to spend it than flying the Challenger 650? A short positioning flight over to Yeovilton, and as I always say, short flights are much more difficult. Everything happens a lot more quickly, so you've actually got to do more planning than in a longer flight. The initial plan, the initial SimBrief plan, had us cruising at 360, which is mentally high. I'm sure there is enough track miles to do it, but that didn't seem like a great idea. So I put the stop at 240 because the split between high and low airways in the UK, I think, is 245. We are heading west, so that would make it even. And yeah, that's that. I have got running in the background Task Manager to look at utilization. Let's drop that down a little bit. The GPU is actually only being about 65 to 70% utilized. Yet the fact that it's still limiting the frame rate, I'm still hesitant. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of cash on a 3080 and then find out that it doesn't provide any benefit. Although long term, I think it would, and like I said yesterday, maybe it would be a bit more future proof, because if the 40 series debut and are made of pure unobtainium again, then we're all stuck. Anyway, empty flight, so it will be nice and light, so we should rocket straight up. London's online, I think, so it should be an interesting afternoon.
Welcome to Hot Start Flight Support. How can we help you today?
Hello, Jenny. We are going to be departing then, but we've only got 3 crew and 0 packs, so there's nothing to worry about there. We are going to need fuel. We need the GPU because there are noise conditions on Biggin Hill for APU running time, which is 30 minutes max without permission, without additional authorization, not permission, authorization. So CPU, GPU seem pretty similar at the moment. And again, the CPU is only at 42% utilization, but of course, have a look at that. Even on core 1. Oh no, there's an interesting one. CPU 7, core number 7 is being pretty highly utilized, and I guess that's the Challenger. Reserving a thread or 2 for it. I'm going to keep an eye on that. It's interesting.
Of course, Captain. I'll get that organized for you right away.
Wonderful. So let's walk out, and at Biggin Hill there would be an FBO. Maybe not where we're parked. I don't know Biggin Hill that well. But here is our jet, parked up where we left it. Let's get Volanta running now that we're outside. And import from SimBrief. It's got our call sign, got where we're going. Heathrow's our alternate. Excellent. So that's doing its thing. Let's connect to the old Vatsim. Heathrow Tower, Gatwick Ground, London South, London Centre. Gatwick Tower. Wow, Gatwick's busy today. Cool. So here's our aeroplane, which looks alright. No kinks, no dents. That's a lot of traffic, and I guess they're doing circuits slowly. Oh no, they're parked up on the airfield. Anyway, our route today is going to take us out to Lydd, Seaford, Midhurst, Southampton, and then out this way before we then head into Yeovilton. So there is nothing on the ice, no ice on the wings, because I can see from the data output. But of course, you can click on the check now. I'm going to take the pin out, take that shock out. I'm going to take these off. And these. And as I said, that's a pretty sad looking terminal. I think we could do better than that, but probably better to wait for at least the early access for X-Plane 12. I'd happily do some scenery for that once the world editor is good and ready. Not sure if that's enhanced Skyscapes with that slight difference in panel color. Maybe it's the livery, not sure. I know this is not the proper walk around, but of course you can do just a quick generic, make sure there's nothing obvious, leaks, etc. before getting in. And of course all those covers, etc. get stored in the door, which isn't modelled yet, at least. We probably won't need our full hour of setup time, so I think we can get going as soon as we like. Bad IFR practice, but saves us hanging around for no reason. So still feels a little bit stuttery, still GPU limited. As I say, 70% utilized. The memory is 7.1 gig. With 2.8 shared, I guess that is that shared with hard drive or RAM? Because my system RAM, 32 gigs, 43% used. And I think this is the issue, is my GPU memory is getting maxed out. This is the 6 gig version of the Challenger as well, but of course I am using Ortho, and that starts to fill up the memory. So circuit breakers, they all look in, as do those in the footwell, as best I can see. So initial checks, I'm actually going to use the QRH. Normal power up, airplane and flight perms. Well, I've got some checklists. I've got my docs. Can't check the aeroplanes one. That would be a nice touch if Toto's watching again. Circuit breakers checked. Emergency equipment. Can't really check. Hydraulic pumps. That's an important one to check. They are all off. I don't think that's in the other one. Nose steering, again important, is off. Landing gear lever is down. Flight spoiler lever is retracted. Flaps up and matched with the outside. ADG manual release is stowed. And then come the rest of the checks. So I will check the lamp now. I suppose it doesn't really matter, but if that's a no-go item, you probably want to check it quite early, don't you? And at that point, we pop the battery master on, according to this check anyway. DC electrical page. Well, first I'm just waiting for all of these cautions and warnings to pop up, and they look sensible. So I'm going to clear those. 22 volt minimum, we have 25. Nav lights come on this checklist before the APU goes on. I'd put them on so that people know that the aeroplane is crewed anyway, or at least something is going on. Fire-X detection. That is the SPS, that's the wrong one. There we go, Fire-X. 1, 2, 3, 4, left and right, 1, 2 scripts, okay. APU, 1 and 2, okay. Fire detection.
Jet pipe overheat.
5 warning, 3 red,
Jet pipe
3 green,
overheat.
and the oral. And there we go, fail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Caution. Checked. Cleared. Nav lights are on, and APU start at this point. We're not going to do. We're going to take the external power. AC, DC electrics checked, and we will crack on with the audio checklist.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrics.
Checked.
Nav lights, logo light.
Already on.
Cockpit lights.
Set.
Lamp test.
we did not do, so let us do that. Oh, I can only do one of them.
Duct monitor.
We can certainly do that, and I'm going to box the CAS for that again. Over to test. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Lead air duct.
Oral, 4 switch lights, duct
Lead
test OK.
air duct.
Loop A, check OK. Loop B, check OK.
FMS database status.
Let's do that now. Nope, wrong one. So, I wonder if we can do our check. I've got Hoppy and stuff. Let's pop the com on. 129.425. I know people use, in reality, the tune menu, but of course I don't have an FMC, so it's easier to use the hardware dials for me. So let's get this sorted out first. Clear out the last one. Correct database, which is AIRBORNE 52205. Correct date. Yes.
FMS flight plan uplink, ATIS.
We can certainly do that. So, why don't we do the data link weather first? Is it fans or is it data link? I'll try data link. So we're at Echo Kilo. No, we're not in Echo Kilo. We're in Echo Golf Kilo Bravo. We are going to Echo Golf Delta Yankee, and our alternate is Heathrow, which we probably wouldn't use. But I'm going to send that through anyway. And we'll let that go. I don't think there is an ATIS for here, although of course we would tune it up and try. We've got big in tower. We're going to have to pay attention to our nav radios for departure, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. VHF is taking its time, of course slower than the SATCOM link, I would assume. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me that it would be. 1650 fuel is what I expected from yesterday. It's always worth writing it down. And I might as well put wrong. Oh, there we go. Right. So let's do index, data link, weather, terminal weather over here. We'll look at that in a minute. And let's go route menu. Flight plan recall. Echo Golf Kilo Bravo. Echo Golf Delta Yankee. And I think when I first got this that didn't work, but it does now. So I don't know if that was a bug. Hence why I was putting in the flight plan number, which on SimBrief is just the tail number. Fuel guy's about to turn up. 1650, so therefore our block fuel is 2190. I would round that up to 200, take 1650 gives us 0 minus 5550. Just need to divide that by the density when it gives it to us. Flight plan loaded. Let's pop Echo Lima in there. And we are going lid. Yankee 803 Midhurst, Lima 620 to Southampton, November 19 to ADKIK, and then we will go that far unless we're vectored off early by the controller, because that will get us exiting an airway at a right angle, which is probably a good idea. So, activate, execute that, and index. Maybe it is fans. So let's. Maybe it isn't. Let's request controller. Okay, sectors, there's nothing in there. Quote ATIS, which is the controller information.
All right, Captain, fuel truck is hooked up. Just let me know how much fuel you need. Or would you like to go tanks full today?
So the density is 0.807, which gives us 681.5 meters. That won't take very long. It's probably going to be 680, isn't it? Yep, so 720 will do us.
Alright, I'm gonna go start up the pump.
So we are in kilos. Lamp test. We'll open all those up. Even for our little tour of Norway with a stop, even if we tanker, we might need some center tank fuel. So open, shut off, happy, let's close those. And there we go, we should start fueling. For that to pop up. And if you are watching, please say hi. It says there's 3 people. Hopefully that doesn't include me. So maybe it isn't that one. Data link, depart clearance. That's not right, is it? So we are going to Echo Golf Delta Yankee. We have no ATIS. That's a required piece of information, so I'll just pop that in. And yeah, I don't think we can pop that in. Because it doesn't quite work like that.
Refueling is complete, Captain. Do you need anything else?
So, no, that looks good enough. Still going up, and
Okay, just one
I'm
quick
happy with
signature
that.
on here, and I'll be on my way.
It's going to take 731 kilos,
Have a nice
41
day.
minutes of flight time to get us there. Oh, London's closing. That makes me sad. That makes me very sad. Go for Hotel Romeo. That is Goodwood. Interesting that they're open. And London's going offline. Why don't we just have a listen?
Apu 31 Alpha Kilo, climb flight level 310. 310, Alpha Kilo.
Okay, so that is a bit of a shame. We'll sort ourselves out as usual. I guess they would give us that departure clearance. Remarks, yeah, that is how we do it. Happy. Hello Glenn, good to see you again. Are you flying today? So, flight plan, uplink, ATIS, we have done.
Anti-skid.
Armed. Test. Checked.
Nose door.
Is clear.
Hydraulic 3A pump.
Let's pop that on.
Brake pressure.
3000 psi. And you guys can't quite see that, but it's down there. I've got that displayed. There it is.
Parking brake.
Set and indicated.
Nose door.
Well, let's go open it, shall we, and get the pin out. while we're up here, we can turn those off, even though they are shut.
Hydraulic panel and pumps.
So, in reality, you just be able to do that very quickly, just knock them all up. All the B pumps are on. Temperatures, quantities, and pressures. All good. And then do it this way round. All auto 3A on.
Electric panel.
So Gen 1, Gen 2 are off.
AC DC utility switch.
On, light out.
Start ignition panel.
All out.
Fuel panel.
1, 2, 3. 2 green, 2 white. 1, 2, 3. 2 green, 1 white. 1, 2. Out. On. Out. Out. Off. And switch light caution. Left right pump caution.
APU LCV.
Not going to do those yet.
10th stage isolation valve.
Or that.
Packs.
Or those.
Air conditioning panel.
Nice day for a swim. Yeah, treating the flight sim as a method of relaxation. Yeah, I suppose it's an enjoyable hobby. Relaxing? Not always. So, air conditioning, normal cabin set, and the ram air is out, extinguished, guarded, packs off, set, cabin, temperatures set.
Pressurization panel.
So 500, 0 differential pressure, that sounds about right. Man out centered, man rate is all the way around. Press cont, manual on the incas, out, full light illuminates. Emergency depress out, extinguished and guarded. And what are we looking at? Yeovilton is pretty much sea level, I think. 75 feet. So, A, that'll do. 2992 roughly today, so something like that'll do. And rate pip is selected. Sorry, in line with the mark.
Lead air panel.
All out, extinguished. When we get the APU online, those will be on, but they are not at the moment.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel switch.
It's down here, isn't it? And that is out.
Cal anti-ice switches.
So we pop those in. No lights, no cautions. Pop them out again.
Anti-ice panel.
Easy to do it this way, isn't it? So, no, we need to do that first. Wing off, left and right heat off, pop those to high, push test. 1, 2, 3, 4, window heat OK. Back off reset. And the cautions. Ice detect. Check the caution. And we do need to worry about that today because up to, I think, 25260, there is moderate icing in the sector that we're going to be in. So, wing overheat. Box the CAS again.
Wing
Wing
overheat.
overheat, anti-ice test okay.
Wing overheat.
Just makes it easier to see. Boxing the CAS. You guys can't see that, but look at it. Fourth screen, 4 screens.
Emergency lights.
So they are off, and we have a caution. Bottom on. We have an info. Yes. Bottom to arm, and of course we would go and check those emergency lights come on. Pop it to arm, no caution.
Passenger signs.
We are not going to have any packs for this sector, so I'm actually going to pop them to auto, and then we don't have to worry about
ELT.
is armed.
Glare shield panel.
Is set for the moment.
Crew and passenger oxygen.
The quantity is fine. I'm not going to check them, but of course you would in reality.
DCU warning panel.
It's down here, isn't it? Now extinguished, guarded.
CVR.
Test and green light.
Audio panels.
Not set that side. Not set my side. Mic 1. COM 1 on. Excuse me.
GB DDR4 is taking off runway 27 right.
Oh great, we're going to be hearing all of Heathrow because Heathrow's just gone offline. Right, let's turn the COM off and make sure we turn that back on. Audio panels checked, and stall protection is on the right side here. You can see that, and it's on this side.
SPS system.
So, flight control, there it is. So, stab trim, 1 in, and trim goes all the way down to 0. Wait for the stab trim, warning. 7.2 gig out of my 8 gig, 2.8. That would fill up 10 gig. Why does it do the shared GPU memory? I don't know. And you can have, you guys can't see that, but I could see those move. And then, stab trim disconnect with the caution. Flight controls, yes, and then we're going to do the SPS test. So, stall fail, ignition A and B, stall enunciated, pitch elevated all the way down. As the disconnector comes back, the G switch should allow more limited movement, but I don't think I'd do that unless I map it.
Integrated standby instrument.
So what have we got there? We'll check its seam serviceable. I think it's about 1015, which would make sense. Double check that with the ATIS in a moment. 580, 580-ish.
Clock.
Flight time's already reset. UTC looks sensible. Matches roughly my watch.
EFIS, ICAS.
Checked.
Main landing gear bay overheat.
There it is.
Gear bay
Oral and
overheat.
1 warning. Check the fail as well. I know that's not on the check, but there it is.
TOS warning switches.
Let's just quickly do those all out. Hit the test. Europe to Canada, then Seattle. That's a long old trip.
Glide slope. Pull up.
Yes, Glenn. So you will get the units local to where you are. So if you're in a kilos airframe, you are going to have to do the conversion. So don't get that wrong. I think the kilos to gallons will, yeah, when you're in kilos and you want gallons, you will overfuel if you ask for what you want. And it should be relatively obvious. But the other way round is more dangerous because you'll end up with less fuel than you expect. If you want 200, 300 gallons and then you ask for 200-300 litres, that's the worst. Well, I mean, they're both bad situations, but yeah, you are going to have to do some conversions. There's online calculators, or if you do have a trusty, genuine flight computer, you can use one of those. Because of course you need to convert kilos to pounds, pounds to gallons. So yeah, that's welcome to the world of aviation. I'm sure I've said before, the namesake of this aeroplane, G-ATIS, is still a 1965 PA-28. Has one tank in US gallons, one gauge, one tank in US gallons, the other in imperial gallons. Of course, all the weights are in pounds, and you're filling the aeroplane up in litres. So talk about that for a headache. Well, that's a bit of a cheat, mate. A little bit of a cheat. I assume that just links up with what the aeroplane expects. Although most fuel dispensers should be able to convert kilos to pounds, it would make sense. I would assume that the European ones could do, but the North American can be a little bit stuck in their ways. So, TORS warning we did, and that tested okay. Turn it back off.
Pitch and roll disconnects.
They are both stowed.
Ground spoilers.
Auto.
Thrust reversers.
They are stowed and armed. You could, of course, Can I do that from here? No, I can't. There we go, let's arm those.
Thrust levers.
Number 1, full free correct shut off. Full free correct shut off.
Engine speed switches.
Are both on.
Engine vibration check.
So fan vibration goes up to 3.5, stops, vibration caution, and reset.
Oral warning.
Wrong one. They both work.
Smoke detector.
Toilet and baggage, warning yes.
Smoke.
1 oral.
Smoke.
Trims. Mach trim.
So, 1, 2, stab trim 2 in op. Select. Stab trim, Mac trim 2. Stab trim 1 in op. And then you're meant to do it with the... So the first one you do with the co-pilot, second one you do my side. But I don't have those mapped. I just have my one mapped, so it doesn't matter. And then 1, 2, no pitch, no Mac. Set for takeoff, and then check the others. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to struggle to get them. So I've got aileron trim mapped. I don't think. I'm actually going to set something like that because we're going to be very light, and we'll talk about the departure here. It's going to be sporty, and I don't think I can set rudder trim. Don't have enough controls.
Yacht ambers.
So no check other than popping them in, and the caution goes away.
Reversionary inhibit switches.
We'll set normal, and the MFD is out and extinguished.
IRS.
Let's go here. That. Nav status. No. IRS status. Nav, and they all see sensible.
CPDLC.
Can't do. No one to talk to. London Centre's online. South has gone off. Gatwick Approach is probably not interested, though I will ask them. Just ask if he wants me to contact him, because I mean it might help with the traffic. But who knows?
TCAS.
Let's do that. Tune ATC 2000 set climb, so I'm going to set that above, hit test.
TCAS system test OK.
Excellent.
ATIS and clearance.
So let's have a look at the weather. We're not going to get clearance. Let's have a look at the departure chart. So lid 2 departure. The initial climb is to 4,000 feet. The aerodrome is at just under 600, so the pressure looks correct. Let's wind that up to 4.1. So, data link weather view, and we're going to do both, remember, because it's a short flight, so just to get an idea, I think the TAF was cancelled for Yeovilton. Whether that's just because the Met Office has gone offline, I don't know. So, 1050 Zulu, yeah. What have we got there? Variable at 5 knots. So I'll give ourselves a 5 knot tailwind. Cav OK. Remember the definition for that. Temperature 19 is exactly what I've got on the PFD. Dew point 9 at QNH1014. Which does, yeah, it's within. It's close enough. 2994. no PyReps, and the forecast there 190 at 5, so the trend is for it to be a southerly wind. Let's have a look at Yeovilton. There you go, no TAF, that has been cancelled, no cloud detected, 10k, 170 at 4, let's have a look. So, I suppose that's favouring 2-2, or it's all across 0826. I mean, 4 knots is pretty much negligible. But of course, what we're not getting there is a trend. So that makes a bit of a pickle. But with 4 knots, we might just go straight in for 2-6. That would certainly make things easier. It's the only ILS. And we'll talk about Biggin Hill's departures. So ATIS and clearance. We have got the weather. We can't get the clearance.
FMS flight plan, wind update, perf.
Okay, flight plan, wind update, perf. Let's do perf first. It's 19 degrees. As I said, really nice day. Almost not a cloud in the sky. A little bit of bubbly Q. We will probably do a flex takeoff just because of the departure, and it's going to be pretty rapid otherwise. So we now have 22, that's 10 kilos higher. So I think we've got 2210. That might bounce around a little bit. As I said, 240 we might be able to make higher than that, and it's 190 to get back to Heathrow. Now 0 fuel weight 12645. There's only 3 of us. Okay, 2220 is exactly what it says. And that's given us an extra 30 minutes reserve as well. Not that we're going to need it. We'll do the winds in a moment. Reserves. Our final reserve is 404. Put 410 in because it is such a nice day. Our estimated time of departure is meant to be 12:15. I'm going to call it 12. Taxi fuel, we'll stick with 100. And you can see that gets us ample on arrival. Minimum takeoff is 1630. And the minimum, our final reserve and our alternate is 812. So we've got almost double that on arrival. The VNAV, we are going to do that, that is correct, as is the speed restriction. 240, 300.82, yes. And then arrival, it probably going to be 75, just above 1013. Keep that. So, wind update. Send that through. This side I will get us back to data link weather because I am going to ask for that again at some point. Oh, Heathrow approach is on, and Gatwick director did not call me back. 126825. Why don't I put that on COM2? Oh, I have got it on COM2. Good. So if I do need to contact them, I can do that. I've got London on 1. And we can switch that over very quickly. Excuse me. Radio reception must be quite poor here, even though we are quite high. Don't forget, Toto does he does model it. So runway 21. Might as well set that now. Roughly. Download winds updated. Execute. So, departure, runway 21, and we are going to lid. No transition. Execute. arrival, we will plan for the ILS for 26. We could do a visual to 08. Why don't we do a visual? So 08 is what it looks like favouring. PAR would be 2,000 feet QFE 2060. That's 6.3 miles. But that would be visual, and we could. Well, they have echo as well, because of course they got fast jets. We don't see that on charts very often. We could take the circle to land minima for that. We can't do TACAN, so we could do a 6-mile final to runway 08. Or the PAR. Or, no, we'll just do a 5-mile final at a right base. And that is 3 degrees, so nothing needs changing there. Over to the legs. So, what's the departure? We need big in hill, so thinking about the radios, I am going to tune for departure. Nav 1, we are going to have big in hill set. Or are we? So I want the ILS on standby, in case we need to come back. Just so that makes things easier. There's a speed restriction of max 285, 24 overhead. So the departure is as soon as practicable, which will be 400 feet, turn right, track 220. So that is 206, a 14 degree turn. To the right at 400 feet. And then at 1 DME, turn right, direct to the VOR, max 185. So we're going to depart with flap. Intercept Detling 275. So I think I want Detling on nav 1, 117.3. Detling on nav 1. And that's going to be 095. We want standby nav 1 to be 109.35 for the ILS, in case we need to come back. I know it's a beautiful Cav OK day. And then for nav 2, active 1151 and 114.05 is lid. And then VOR1 will be 150. So it's worth tuning these up before you go. As you can tell, there is acceleration on this, but I'm not convinced that the hardware I've got here picks it up. I don't know if it's just an encoder issue or what, but it's quite tedious to do this. There we go. Happy. Even though we are going to use nav for departure, noise preferential route, non-airways, coordinated with TEMS, max 250 below 10, blah, happy. Happy. Our stop is 4,000, but actually we need to be below 2.5, so we are going to moderate this climb. That's at or below 2.5, so that's going to be our initial stop. So 2.4, and then you can see there 2.5 below. 185, so I am going to set that now so I don't forget. V2 plus 20, max 185. So yeah, we might just do V2 plus 20 once we've got our V speeds. Anything else to think about? Yes, performance-wise. So let's send that through. Like I said, it's probably worth doing max flex to make the departure a little bit easier. Everything on Perfinit's done. VNAV's done. Runway 21. Just update the weather. It might just be a report every hour. You can see how tight that turn is, 1 DME. So, you guys can't see that weather there, can you? 11:20 to do, so they are doing them every half an hour, so there will be one in a moment. But we can see what the change is, or at least the trend. Variable at 5 still. Still cam okay. Still 19.91014. No real change there, is there? So, we're not going to put the wind itself in, because it's a variable. What I'm going to do is put, do we do it that way? -5. Oh no, T. Five knot tailwind. Correct, correct. And takeoff weight 14.9. 1277. So actually, we do have that tailwind. That does make a little bit of difference. Quite a bit of difference actually. Let's have a look and see if there's any intersections. There are intersections, but none of them are published. So we're going to go all the way down to the end of runway 21. And that gives us a takeoff of, from the chart, 1670. Interesting that 1799 is probably the total pavement length. Not quite sure what the difference is. We'll go off the charted, published takeoff rather than that figure. So, no obstacles to worry about. Go back to perf. And take flex 50. Back to takeoff. 1623. We got 1670, so that's going to use up a huge amount. Don't forget, we probably won't have that continual tailwind, but I'm happy with that. V2 plus 20 is 149. I'm happy if we take a 152 in that case then for the initial departure, which is VFTO plus 5. Send those through, 85.2 flex, and then we can hopefully make that relatively tight turn. Good. 149, 152, not really a huge amount of difference. Is there V2 plus 20? Wicked. So,
Takeoff data.
Done.
Avionics and charts.
Done.
Flight instruments.
So, let's ping takeoff, out select, and I'm going to use, probably should use VNAV for departure, just for those restrictions. No, I'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to set the initial stop as 2.5. That's 3 clicks that it didn't pick up there. Don't know if that's a frame rate thing. London's still not online, which is fine. So, Toga we've done, ATS we have. Nav, we are going to use FMS nav, but we do have the backup guidance. LNAV is armed. Attitude is sensible. 158 heading is sensible. Nav 1, temperatures, nav aids, conventionals reset, sorry not reset, they are set for departure. V-speed set, and the FTO plus 5 is also set. We should have an excess of power, which we're going to try and moderate. 152, max 185 in the turn for the departure. Takeoff, LNAV, out select. Let's see how we get on with VNAV. I may intervene. Flight director my side. And out V is armed with 2.4 initially, and then 2.5, which we need to be below for about 9 miles, which is marked on the chart. 0 VSI, sensible altitude, QNH is set, and 85.2 on flex. And then 1 flex is enunciated.
Departure briefing.
We have discussed, as long as you guys are all happy with it, I'd love to show on screen, but I don't want to kill my sim.
Emergency procedures.
It's pretty much just a straight ahead for this one, I think. MSA 2300 to the east, 2100 in the sector we would be departing in. So we just keep going to 2.5.
Pins, covers, chocks.
We have done.
Cabin lights, water heaters, master seat.
Also done.
Flight compartment checklist complete. Engine start checklist next.
Goodness, excuse me. 7.3 on the GPU memory. I think that's what kills the frames when we arrive in London, is that GPU memory hitting the stop. Right. We'll do a weather update in a second, but we need APU. Power fuel on. EGT looks like external temperature. It's 11:54, and we would request an APU start, I think. Timer is running. We have 3 minutes. I suppose I could have done that a little bit before, just to be a bit more efficient. Saving time, it wouldn't cost any more or less. Green light, and we will get the ding in a moment. I'm not going to shut the door until we got the air conditioning running. Although, what's the cabin temperature? 23 degrees? Yeah, a little bit warm. So, still no one to talk to. 1228, and if we need to speak to Gatwick, they're on COM 2, so we can very easily just switch over. How would I do that? I think I would go and there's mic 1, sorry, mic 2, COM 2. There you go, so it's easy to do that. I just don't have an indication on my panel. I'm sure I could do that with, or I'm sure somebody could do that with Lua script or something. Yeah. So we'll do the bleeds check and the APU in a moment.
Engine start checklist. Doors.
But we'll get that check ready. Maybe we will be off at 12:15. Heathrow Stansted and Gatwick ATIS. Happy. Yeah, I'm surprised not all the controllers use Hoppy, for instance. For you'd like to think it would be much easier for them to do rather than voice. So let's go shut the door.
Parking brake and pressure. Checked and set. Fuel quantity and balance.
Negligible. Well, there's 3 minutes. So, AP on the bus. It was a ding. What was the ding for? Don't know. Tenth stage, isolation, packs. I know I shut the door slightly before, but we were getting raring to go. AC, DC, checked.
Beacon.
So we would need to call up and request start, which we will assume we've done because there's no one to talk to.
On. Fuel boost pumps. On. Ignition.
Use Bravo today.
Armed. Engine 2 start.
Thumbs up to start, so we'll start engine number 2. So N2's turning, oil pressure is increasing. 20% N2. Check. ITT less than 120, M1's turning, fuel on. Fuel flow increases. ITT's increasing, and oil pressure is also increasing.
Fuel system.
Tick, tick. Right's running, we want left low pump. Right and left pump. Left low. Pop those back on.
Engine 1 start.
Clear to start 1. Start engine number 1. N2's turning. Oil pressure is increasing. 20% N2. Check. ITT is less than 120. M1's turning. Fuel on. Fuel flow increases. ITT is increasing. Oil pressure increasing.
Engine start checklist complete. After start checklist, next.
So we'll get the chocks out while I check the weather. Ah, 210 at 6, so that will improve our performance. Happy, no drama. Gen 1 and 2 are off. Chocks are out.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2.
Available online.
On. Checked AC and DC. Ignition.
Just checking AC and DC. Checked.
Disarmed. Packs. On. 14th stage. Open. Cowl anti-ice. On. Check 45 seconds. Flight controls.
Don't have those labelled, hence why I always get it wrong. Full forward, full aft, full left, full right, full left rudder, full right rudder.
Ground spoilers.
So, auto, not deployed, disarm, not deployed, armed, deployed, auto, stowed.
Flight spoilers.
All the way up, half to half, stowed, all stowed.
Cowl anti-ice.
Looking for 45 seconds as well, we've already got it.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
On.
Test on. Fuel balance.
10 kilos within.
Trims.
1, 2, 3, set takeoff.
No steer.
Chocks are out.
Armed. APR.
Test 1, APR enunciated. 1 OK. test APR and 2 OK.
ADG unit.
No, it's that way. There we go. Test light out.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
We'll wait for that. I'm just a bit too quick with these checks now. As we have a look at the Vatsim radar. Bose, that sounds like the same guy that was online yesterday. No, it's different. 2 departures, it's just us. He's off to Kemble. Bet we'll get there before he does. And we'll just have to try and avoid traffic. Easier said than done. Just waiting for that light. And we haven't heard anyone, have we? TXRX. Oh, miles away. Checked. Off. Doesn't do that for me. Interesting.
Cal anti-ice.
Off.
Wing anti-ice. North. 14-stage isolation valve.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. Middle one. Checked.
Wing anti-ice.
2 green, 2 yellow.
Checked. Off. ATS. N1 TO. ATC TCAS.
N1 flex. Is that why my speeds disappear? Because he touches something. Toto, you're a bad FO. So I am set flex. I think that was the point at which they just disappeared. Send those through again. It's now 146. Why is that? Let's knock it back one. We should have done that already. My bad.
TARA. After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist next. Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Brakes and steering.
So clear left, clear right. Biggin Hill traffic. Prefect 99 taxiing main apron. Hold runway 21 via Delta. Biggin Hill traffic. So it's 12:05. 2180. The aeroplane, the brake is off and the aeroplane has not rolled forward. Give it a little bit of juice. Full rudder is available. Brakes work. We'll use minimum power to get going.
Thrust.
First flight of the day only. We're going to do a right and then a left all the way down. We could cross if we needed to. Left, transit, deployed, transit, stowed, right, transit, deployed, transit, stowed. N1 flex.
If taxiing the de-ice, pause checklist here until a paper de-ice checklist.
So there's an interesting hold. Delta 3, so I think, so these have stop bars in reality. What they don't have, I don't think, is flashing, so it would be an illuminated red stop bar. That's something X-Plane can't do, so we can cross that. It's not a runway hold. We're going to go all the way down to Delta 1.
Flaps. 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-check. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
We've discussed.
Taxi checklist complete. Before takeoff checklist next.
really quick rolling down this hill. Like I said, we're going to go all the way down. Don't think there's a wingspan restriction.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Probes. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel. Checked. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
Checked.
Landing pulse recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete. After takeoff checklist next.
Beacon Hill traffic, Prefect 99 lining up, taking off runway 21, lid 2 departure, Beacon Hill traffic. So approach has been checked, we are good to go, our V-speeds are back. Is that a strobe light? Better not be a strobe light. Strobes are almost unheard of in the UK. They are not used. Been doing a lot of editing around that. So it's 12:08. Got 2160. There's the correct runway. Let's use all of it. The V-speed should get cooled down. Let's go. Now, should there not be a pointer on the N1? I know it overshoots. I'm not sure if that's me or if the throttle hold should get it.
80 knots.
Yes. Might need to be a bit louder. How do I turn it up?
V1. Rotate.
Ooh, that's twitchy.
Positive rate.
Gear up, and we will aim for speed. So 400 feet is what we want. There it is. We'll do an immediate turn. Track 220. It's not heading, that's track 220. Then we're looking for 1 DME, well we're already there. So we need to keep that turn coming round. Goodness, we ended up hitting that pretty quick, didn't we? Back to the VOR, so I was a little bit slow on that. Oh no, it's 24, that's my mistake, I was levelling off correctly. And Beacon Hill VOR is out here to the right. Oh, hello. Come on aeroplane, there we go. Back overhead the airfield. And then 095. Actually, that seems to have worked quite well. Apart from my altitude excursion, the airplane is so out of trim. 095 is what we want from the VOR. So I'm not sure what that is giving us. And then we're heading 095 to Detling. Excuse me, so I'm pretty much on track. I think I did alright there. And then we can gradually creep up to 2.5, which we've already done. So that was not, I think I'll probably fail that on an IRT. And look at these altitude excursions. Anyway, let's speed up to 200. Going to activate the autopilot. Going to clean the aeroplane up.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thruster hosters. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. fax transition. Completed. N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU. Shutdown. Passenger signs.
We'll leave them in auto.
CAS.
Checked clear.
After takeoff checklist complete.
So let's get up to 250. I think that was not a bad departure. Yeah, sorry Toto. So the issue, and thanks for joining, the issue I have with my mic is electrical noise, and I can't figure out if it's the connection, if it's inside the case. I'm really struggling with it. It could well be the rather janky adapter that I've got for my GA headset, which has to be powered as well. So I've sort of Heath Robinsoned a power supply into a battery connector, which is less than ideal. So there could be a hooky connection along there. Yeah, it was all less than ideal. So 2.5 below at 9 DME to detling. Still got a long way to go there. Then we are going to climb to 4 and see how we get on. It's a fun departure to watch from outside, isn't it? I suppose actually what I want to do is pop those on pulse. Yeah, it's good having the front panel. So I use the front panel for the mic and headphones, which of course you need an extra audio device to be able to what am I trying to say? So I get the headset through my actual ears rather than the speakers, so all the airplane sounds come through my back panel speakers, and the front panel is used for the headset, which is actually, I think, a really good way of doing it. So I'm going to pop vertical speed, and then we'll climb to 4, and that looks sensible, doesn't it? I'm going to disarm VNav. At least we've got the advisory there. Actually, we might as well just get up to 4 DME to detling. God, imagine trying to work that out. Doing a bit of MDR, that'd be a headache. And yeah, I mean, I did think about getting an audio stream card. Maybe I still should. But even that didn't do what I want. I don't get pass through, so I don't get what's that called when you hear yourself. There's too much of a delay. Otherwise, if I did that, I could probably just have the stream running off of the headphones and it was sending it back to itself. I'm not sure if I can get that. I also need a God, what am I trying to say? Not a pass-through filter, a noise gate, just like you'd get with a real aeroplane, because I think that's quite important. Bottom of climb. Happy. So what I'm going to do, yeah, we probably could have gone to 360, couldn't we, when you see where top of climb is. That wasn't bad. I mean, I think it was a little bit outside the excursion with the 1 mile, but considering everything was happening relatively quickly. So we're heading to Lid. I don't see any traffic. Let's hit 240. Let's get the aeroplane on the way initially. We're in Europe, so switch to standard as soon as cleared. Not that it makes much difference. We'll get the aeroplane just a bit of VS to finesse, and I know, of course, yes, that's the one monitoring, noise monitoring, which I'm sure you're familiar with real, oh, I don't even know what I'm talking about now, real intercom. It'd be nice to have a real intercom. It'd be nice to have 2 headsets. Bit of dual crew stuff. The Ortho looks good. Europe looks good. The frames are currently okay. CPU limited at the moment. GPU's down at 51. Maybe that upgrade wouldn't help. Let's go to. Let's keep using vertical speed. And I know you can switch to vertical to flight level change. and just increase the throttle yourself, which of course is very smooth in the real aeroplane. It's a bit more difficult to do in the sim pit. But I tell you what, there we go, let's do that. It's going to go a little bit mad. 250 until 10. Yeah, so those are what I've got, but I think with the electrical noise, that's spoiling it as well. Originally I wanted to have a hardware gate, but I gave that up, seeing how expensive the sort of PC flight sim intercoms were, although they would do the trick. So there's 250, coming up to 10, so let's increase that. Let's vertical speed, just to moderate it initially. 300 for the climb. We're accelerating quite slowly, so let's bring that back to 3. We're quite light. But yeah, noise monitor is quite useful. Certainly what you expect in a real aeroplane. Until you transmit. Am I thinking that? Yeah, you hear yourself until you hear the PTT. All these little cues that you get in reality. Yeah, we could have gone up to 360. I suppose we still could. I kind of wanted to see some of the scenery. Let's try 4 and then go to flight level change. There we go, flight level change, 300 M1 climb, LNAV, and flight level 240. So, with all that faff, I've not done the lights, logo's already off. Seat belts, they went to on. I wanted them in auto, but my trusty FO did that. Yeah, really scratchy. There is noise. It might just be the connector, but again, I had the same issue despite changing cases. Ooh, that's rather steep. So yeah, more work to do. Maybe I will get an audio hardware something. But I don't think that will necessarily, I suppose, unless it's a USB one, that's not going to solve the issue, is it, if I get a little mixing desk? Then I've got to try and find somewhere to put it as well. And I think I did look into that for the power for the mic, with it being an aviation headset. I think even that was a bit too much of a head scratch. It was just easier to get the adapter. I suppose I could get your standard PC headset, but that means the Bose A20 would sit on the shelf and never be used, because even when flying a lot, it's still something sat there, not being used very often, even if you fly a couple of times a week, in reality. So there's our departure to Airways. It is a lovely day. It does look like this in the UK, certainly from my window. And what I didn't do was switch nav over to, wrong one, nav to lid. Bad nav on my part. So the aeroplane will out capture. We will cruise at 300. Bingo, we're on our way. And this seems like a bit of a circuitous route going via Compton. This was 1 mile shorter, so pick that. We're using quite a bit more fuel than if we'd gone up to 3.6, but I wonder if that would have left a very, very, very short climb segment, which I suppose isn't the end of the day, isn't the end of the world. The only issue being online with no controller, which makes that a bit more of a challenge. It's pretty quiet out to the west, so we shouldn't have any issues descending, although I'm conscious of the fact that our top descent is just prior to the Southampton VOR. And our route is probably going to be a little bit of a tight turn from the 5 mile final. 90-degree turn. That's only a base joint. We will cope with that. I think still nobody online. So yes, 7.3 gig of the 8 gig card, 60% utilised. CPU is currently limiting and giving us 30 frames a second. So would I have any benefit getting that, upgrading to a 10 gig card with 70% utilisation? I'm not sure. And it's a lot of money to put on, but is it future proof? Again, sadly, I'm not too sure about that either. And it's not as if these cards are cheap. So that was the other thing I was going to ask or suggest to Toto, was having a fixed start of last cold and dark, as we saw yesterday. If I'm halfway through the checks, then the sim crashes. I appreciate some people might want to just go back to where they were, but if I get bored and then change destination, change plan, whatever, I suppose it's no different to going tech, for instance. It would be useful to have a last cold and dark state. So, weather-wise, there wasn't really anything to worry about. 1150 Zulu. Do the fuel stuff in a minute. Automatic 1705. Still 10k. Few at flight level 100. 2009. Now it's Q102. So that will bring us back down on VNav to flight level 70. It's a military station, so they report quite high level cloud, whereas the civil stations don't. What it didn't give was a colour code. Oh, that's because it's an automatic report, isn't it? Ooh, there goes the CPU through the roof, down to 24 frames a second. What's the GPU doing? The GPU isn't hitting. It's not filled up its dedicated memory. It is increasing. Total GPU 10.1. Oh dear, distractions, Glenn. Distractions are a nightmare. In reality too. So the GPU down to 50, 60%. The Ortho does look nice. There's the frames gone back up. It might have just been a spike of tile loading. Ethernet did pick up a little bit there. Disk is doing nothing. And all the cores are being used. Overall 60% on the CPU. Don't know, I would hate to get a 3080 and it make performance worse. That would be a real disaster. So, let's have a look at prog. Destination 1252, not very long, 1410. Our zero fuel was 1265. 086 0, carry 1, 14.1. So when we do the landing performance, is engine 10th bleed correct? Or should that be off? Oh no, that's currently, isn't it? When we do the landing performance, I'm going to round that up, and then the speed we fly, even though we may end up 90, if that's the speed we fly, that's what the speeds, the distances are based on. So that's what we're going to end up doing. I said we'd planned for 08, hadn't we? So approach 705, pretty much all across. 20 degrees on arrival. 1012. And we expect 14.1. Gives us a VAP of 124. Ample runway available. Those have been sent through. It's going to be a visual approach. We can't use the TACAM. And I will take the circling minima 1050. Oh, Glenn, you know what? That I've certainly done that, not noticed before. As I think in the departure in the 737. Don't forget you haven't got anyone to help, and if you miss that gear up call, have I done it in this? It is easily done. So MSA is 3000 to the north of Yeovilton. Procedure is outside controlled airspace. Altitudes are based on QNH. Heights on QFE. Well, that's kind of obvious. Let's have a look at the legs. 1697. Yeah, that'll do. Just draw a straight line between those for a 5-mile final. Happy days. And a beautiful day, beautiful view of Southampton down here, the Solent. Isle of Wight out to the left. And there's some clouds. Be nice when Nanobot gets his update out. For those smooth transitions. No west, no nothing. No one to talk to, really. Goodwood's online. Is anyone actually flying? Nada. Bit of a waste, isn't it? Oh, we got above and below. I'm an idiot. I thought it was one or the other. Interesting. So, top of descent. Set flight level 100. Arm VNAV, path is armed. I think there is an add-on to get ships and things. It would be nice to have live ship traffic. Titanic's berth was that one there, that one just there. Cruise terminals all along here. And then over there you should be able to see the oil refinery. See the tanks, but not the objects. There's top of descent. We'll maintain 300 until flight level 100. And you can see where we're going. It's more than 90 degrees that turn, isn't it? I'll do a little bit of cheeky heading select. So if I select .300, and then we can do a bit more of a right base. And there's no point tuning, like I said, there's no point tuning the TACAN, which is 111, because it won't work. And in reality, you should get at least DME off of it, but we will get zip nada. Until X-Plane 12, I hope. So, overhead Southampton Airport. I think there's Bewley out to the left, isn't it? Many, many disused airfields in this wonderful country. Real shame. Isle of Wight. Maybe I'll head there this summer. I've not been fortunate enough to get over there when I've tried. I plan to go over there twice in my time, and every time been picked off by the weather. Bournemouth out to the left, just over here. You've been there before. In the sim. I've been there for the air show. Not flown in there. And these would be very expensive places to go to in a tiny little aeroplane.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness.
Checked.
Passenger signs.
Auto.
Pressurization.
So landing field, close enough.
Fuel quantity and balance.
20 kilos within limits.
FMS, landing data, charts.
We have done.
Approach briefing.
We have discussed visual approach, your right base to a 5-mile final, runway 08.
VNAV transition flight level.
We did.
Descent checklist complete. In range checklist next.
And we'll be, once we arrive, we're doing a left turn. Slightly favours 08. Not that it matters. I suppose actually it's only 50 degrees off of runway 22. But whatever. I'm pretty sure primary is the east-west. It doesn't appear to me, Toto, and that's the sieve frequency. I think I could be wrong. So if I try and get on the map here, there's the TACAN. I've got 111, which is on the chart, but I thought that in X-Plane in general, it's no use. But why don't we see if I tune that to nav1. And you see 111 is down here. Can you see if I get rid of that? So I hit tune nav1. I can hit tune nav2 as well, and that kills it. So it is 111, so the chart's correct at least. And nada. So I haven't filed that as a bug because, as I understand it, that's just X-Plane being janky. Let's put a bit of that on. So what have we got out to the right? Henstridge, Echo Golf Hotel Sierra. I have been there. What is that? Compton Abbas? I think. No, they're not even flying. It's a flying at Leon Solar today. I haven't been to Compton Abbas yet. But yeah, TACAN would certainly be very useful. I know we can't pick up anything from it other than the DME, but the DME is useful indeed. Anyway, missed approach is 3060, so 3100, which is 3000 QFE. We could do QFE if we wanted to. Final approach course 083. That's pretty much it. Any aeroplanes around? Nope. And you can see that's not a bad point to leave the lower airway segment and sort of do a right 90 degrees initially, and then we'll just do a little bit of self-positioning. There's the airplane slowing down. Oh, okay. So I thought X-Plane didn't broadcast it, and I wondered if that's what you're picking up. But if you've got your own and it's not picking it up, then something is wrong. Location of me physically, or me in the sim? We are how far out? It's not 39 miles, is it? It's probably, well, we're 25 miles to the southeast of Yeovilton, so south of Compton Abbas, just to the northwest of Bournemouth. My physical location, in reality, I'm in London. This is with Navigraph, with the current air rack. I could try it. I could try converting DAFIS and dumping that as data again. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Just flying along November 19. I've done it before at Benson, so Benson TACAN also didn't work. But there we are. Sorry about the delay in the chat. So we have slowed. We're approaching flight level 100. So let's keep the airplane going down to, why don't we say 4,000 feet initially, as that's above MSA. And set 1012. There's the airplane slowing nicely. Yeah, well, I mean, if the TACAN doesn't work, maybe I need some flowers. What flowers do you send somebody who has a disappointing TACAN? Yeah, like I say, I was operating this in and out of Benson quite a bit, and the TACAN there didn't work, which isn't the end of the world because Compton's not too far away. But yeah, useful. I've failed to do the lights.
In range checklist. APU. Started. Altimeters. Reset. Cross-checked. Avionics.
Looks like I've got you here in the sim with me. So visual approach, everything looks fine to me.
External lights.
They are on.
N1 target.
Can we do that yet? Let's do it this side. Nope. There we go, bleed off.
Set.
Oh, frame dump. GPU does not like. GPU utilization just went up to 80% and memory's gone up to 7.6, so what's that? Yeah, so I know that's going to go. Why is it doing that? GPU's just gone through the roof. Memory usage as well. That's annoying. Why has that happened? Now it's recovered. CPU usage went through the roof as well, but GPU was tanking. interesting. That's really weird. Could have been tile loading, I guess. Now, interestingly, it looks like I've got 100% CPU utilization. That can't be right, can it? What is going on in the background, I wonder? This is running with 2 cores for the Challenger as well. There we go, let's get back onto Vatsim. And we are departing airways, so I'm going to go heading. And I think I want to moderate the descent a little bit. Lose VNAV. Yeah, pretty unpleasant. The GPU just went absolutely crazy. Maybe it did. Maybe it was paging a load of that memory because the shared GPU has gone up to 4 gig. And the dedicated's gone down from about 7.6 to 7.
Transition.
Could just be X-Plane being crappy, I guess.
Avail completed. APU generator.
As you can see, the scenery around here is lovely and the terrain is a little bit slow. CAS checked. We've got anti-ice on, which we can turn off now because we've got through that cloud layer. Easy to get distracted by PC being horrid.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
Actually, yeah, the DME would be really useful. Let's go to 500 feet a minute. We're going to capture soon. What are we flying over? Some of this is nice. So I've got 30 frames a second now, which I'm actually more than happy with. It's a bit stuttery. Now if I could just maintain this, I'd like a bit of GPU horsepower just to make the clouds and stuff a bit nicer. But, you know, I've said it before, I know you don't get the buildings and things like you do with Flight Sim, but I think the ortho in this is actually crisper than MSFS. I do genuinely think it is nicer at this sort of altitude. And I think this is probably only zoom level 17. Did have 17 for the whole of the UK. I think I may have switched that down. It still looks pretty good if you ask me. Regardless of if that's 17 or not, that is exactly what you see bimbling along in the UK. So let's start bringing the speed back. I'll capture at 4,000. And what I really want now is to see that. We are too high, but that's fine because I want to intercept. So let's head a little bit further out towards Merrifield. And head down to 3,000. Oh, London's online now. Not London West, so that's no good for us, but that's a bit of a shame. So what we really want is, I think that is Merrifield, yes it is. Let's bring the aeroplane round to about 040. I know it's going to be a right base, but now it's not. Now it's more of a 40-degree intercept. Interesting. Thanks. I'm glad I found a little hiccup. I just assumed it was X-Plane being X-Plane. Right, let's have some flap. 180. There's the seatbelt sign going on. which is good for the crew. Yeovilton traffic, prefect 99, about 8 miles to the west, positioning for a 5-6 mile final, runway 08, Yeovilton traffic. So, 1100. And we're a little bit high, so let's get some gear and flap out. Oh, we're well and truly high. I got that pretty wrong. Easy with distraction. Let's see if we can recover this, shall we? Let's get back to 140.
2500.
Before landing check.
I know it's a little bit unstable. 1,000 feet a minute.
Down indicating. No steer.
It's a bit of a dirty dive.
Center clear. Anti-skid. Armed tested. Passenger signs. On. Wing cowl anti-ice.
Not required. I did hit that.
Continuous ignition. On. Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers.
Hey, no worries, Toto.
Stowed auto. Flaps. Set. CAS.
Checked.
Before landing checklist complete.
Can we recover
Landing
this?
checklist next.
I think it's a little bit dirty. We'll just keep it going down. Thanks, well, I'm glad we fixed something, found something.
Approaching minimum.
So I'm happy that this is a little bit unstable.
1 minimum.
Let's get the flight director off. It's crew only, there's no packs in the back to chuck up. Oh, and the airplane is well and truly out of pitch again. Well and truly out of trim again. There's the 1,000 feet per minute. Let's see if we can maintain that. There we go, look, gradually getting stable. Unstable approaches are a significant cause of issues like the 737 at Exeter that got broken. There we go, rescued that, didn't we? No speed brake required either. It was particularly dirty though. But we were visual. So, happy days. A little bit higher, we've got loads of runway to play with.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Come on. That was cheeky. We can get some max braking because it's just us. Lots of rudder required there. This came to a stop. Those brakes are very powerful. And I have no idea what taxiway this is called. The PAR crosscut. Yeah, okay. Is where we want it to be anyway. It's 1250.
After landing checklist. Landing pulse recog lights. Off. Anti-collision lights.
We'll just wait for those. Now, have we got enough room to get
Continuous
there? No, let's do it
Off.
right.
Windshield heat. Off. Probes. Off. Wing anti-ice. Off. Cowl anti-ice. Spoilers. Stowed. Flaps.
Yeovilton traffic, prefect
Zero.
99, runway vacated.
ATC TCAS.
Have a good flight,
All time.
Glenn.
Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
So we will head up here and park up on the left. Stand at 31, and I think we'll do a left onto it so that we're facing the hangar. Ooh, that's not a very good hangar. Yeah, this all needs redoing. Just give myself a nice job. Not that anyone's going to come here very often, are they? So this is stand 31. I don't think we can get through that gap. I think in reality you probably could. These are numbered at least, just not particularly well in my opinion. So let's bring the airplane to a stop here. It's very helicopter centric, this place. What's that look like from outside? Brace your ears. Oh yeah. Ish. Not the best park in the world, but hey, there's nobody to marshal us. We're on stand at 5-2 with 1390. I thought we had 1490. Okay, my bad.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights.
Taxi light.
Off. Parking brake. Set. Reverse thrust. Stowed. Generators 1 and 2. Off. Engine 2 shut down. Fuel boost pumps. Off. Fuel system.
So we're looking for right low pump. We touched down 83 feet per minute. Yeah, felt relatively smooth despite the dirty approach. And we got right low pressure pump.
Engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
Just waiting for that. Checked.
Anti-ice. Off. 14th stage. Off. Beacon. Off. No steer. Off. ATC TCAS. Standby 0. Parking brake if chocked.
So we'll just wait for those chocks in. They are in. Brake off.
Passenger signs. Off. Cabin differential. 0 PSI. Engine shutdown checklist complete. Securing checklist next.
Excellent.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
Right, let's open up the door at least. And go and pop the pins and covers on. And maybe later on today, we'll take the airplane, fill it up, and go do our thing. I'd like to do a stop at Southampton on the way to do an additional PAX pickup, but I'm not quite sure how I will go about that. There is a water tower there in reality. I know it looks a bit out of place, the colouring's a bit wrong, but there is one in reality. So whoever did the scenery, at least they added that in there. The rest, yeah, there's a tank there, it's maybe not that tall. And the rest, the hangar ridge, etc. is a bit bland, but then that's the assets we've got. Oh, I know what I didn't do on the other side. I'll do that a little bit later. So the emergency lights can, no, wrong one, come off.
AC/DC utility switch.
Out, and we're meant to give it 3 minutes to let the computers in the cabin shut down.
Headsets. Thrust reversers.
Off.
Chocks.
They are in.
Parking brake.
Is off.
Hydraulic pumps.
They are off too.
Nav lights. Logo light.
That can stay on. And I'll do the rest from secure, brake not required, thrust reversers off, lights off except the nav. Interestingly, doesn't say anything here. Engine that started first shut down. because you need to do the opposite one, don't you, for a pure valve system check. Could in theory start number 1 first. Nothing there about DC AC/DC utility on the QRH check, which is interesting. But they'll still be DC powered whenever the clock will go off. Pumps off, APU gen off, APU shutdown, packs off, tether stage, isolation valve, battery master, and that's it. Flick those off for a change. Nothing else to do, is there? Happy. Let's have a look at the replay. Do I need to do anything else? No, I don't think so. So, like I said, Volanta registered that as minus 82 feet per minute. Let's have a look at the old replay mode. And, of course, disconnected. So,
80 knots.
oh. Yeah, we did touch down a bit late, didn't we? Oh well, we had lots of runway to play with. It's not the smoothest flare in the world, but hey, that was a nice touchdown. And those brakes are very, very effective when you stand on them. We could have gone a bit further. We could have gone up to the intersection and done a left. That would have been probably a bit more sensible. It's difficult, I find, to modulate even having relatively decent pedals. The brakes are very effective. So, there we go. Here we are at Yeovilton. It's not bad, but I think it could do with a little bit of work. Yeah, it's not bad. Somebody's put a bit of effort into that, haven't they? The Fleet Air Arm Museum is up here. Open to one and all. So it'll be nice in X-Plane 12 when these textures are all taken over at the airport level by stuff. But you can see these taxiways needed, I think, a little bit of work, as does the signage. Another airfield to add to my list. Not terrible though. Somebody's put quite a bit of effort in. Just needs a bit more finesse. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Maybe I'll fly again this evening. I mean, what is it now? 2 o'clock local. I haven't had lunch. And it would be nice to go to Stavanger via Southampton. Whether or not we'll get that done today, I'm not sure. Because I'd like to do it in daylight. Although there's not a lot to see in Stavanger. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like I say, that was a bit of a dirty approach. I'm going to call it quits there. So whatever you get up to with the rest of your Sunday, look after yourselves. Thanks to Toto for joining, and thanks to everyone else, only Glenn in the chat, but if anyone else did watch, thanks for joining. We've had a few more subs, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.